So anyway, sorry, I just needed to get something to kind of get us in the mood. And this is probably going to be a little bit longer than the first one. But today I want to talk to you about who you are. Who are you? Like, who are you? If you stripped away all your titles, if you stripped away all your roles, who are you at your core? And that may be a question that you've asked yourself many times before, but maybe recently you haven't really thought about it very much because you've been busy with living life. And so you're busy operating in all the different roles that you have, and you're busy carrying out the function and the responsibilities of the titles that you have. But I just want to, if you will, just entertain me today and ask yourself, who are you? Who are you really? Who are you? And then once kind of define loosely who you are based on your roles and your titles in this life, tell me or think to yourself, if you had no rules or boundaries or limitations, who would you be, and how would that version of you manifest differently from how you're manifesting today? What does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? To be someone other than what society may have dictated that you should be, or that your family has dictated that you should be, or your church has dictated that you should be. And I'm asking this because it's a question that I've had to ask myself as I set sail on my own voyage to Atlantis, or my own voyage within, to discover who I am at my core being. I had to ask myself this, are you just a mother and a wife and a sister and a daughter? And, there was a time when I was a minister. And of course, some of you know that I recently retired from my role as a nurse, or the profession of being in healthcare. And so I've had all these different roles and titles and responsibilities. It just came with living in a society that pretty much set the mold for who we would become. Even to the point of what color you are and what gender you are. We have gender specific roles, and we have gender specific professions, and we have race related roles and professions as well, based on the color of our skin. We have roles and expectations based on our economic status and our education level. So, again, I ask you, who are you with all those things stripped away? When you go to bed at night, or before you go to bed tonight, or when you rise early in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, and that which looks back at you speaks to you, to your inner being, to the core of who you are. Who are you? Who are you? At the very basic level, who are you? So that's a question I want you to ask yourself. And then once you've kind of come to a consensus about who you are without those limits and without those titles and roles, if you could change anything about yourself, what would it be and why? Whether it's something about your physical appearance, or something about your geographical location. What is it that you would change about yourself? And obviously, with the perception that changing something would make you better, or make your experiences better, or somehow would improve or add to the life that you're currently living. So, again, ask yourself, what is it that you would change about yourself, and then ask yourself why you would change that. And once you've come to that consensus, I ask you, what is keeping you from becoming that person expressing that way today? Have you gotten yourself caught up in the mode of being who someone else has said you have to be? Have you gotten so consumed with the role of mother or wife that you don't even know who you are anymore? You don't even know what your life would be like if the kids were grown or the husband was gone. Who would you be at your core? And are you being authentic to that which you really are at your core? And I'm asking those things because obviously it's a question I've had to ask of myself. And periodically throughout my life, I've had to do that reevaluation or do that self reflection, to ensure that I'm in alignment with who I am truly at my core. Now, I will tell you this: who I was yesterday is not who I am today, but those gradual adjustments that we make throughout life on a daily basis, they don't always manifest as big and bold every day as at some point they will. So you have these little gradual or baby steps that you're taking towards becoming this outward expression of that which you are on the inside, so that it's not a complete blow to you or a complete surprise to the people around you that you've become this different person. But I recall a time in my life as I was transitioning from traditional Christianity into what some would call a new age or new thought spiritual perspective, although there's nothing new under the sun. And so it may be new age or new thought to you if it's a thought or age that you've never experienced. But the reality is that there's nothing new. And so the way that I think now may be new to me, but it's something in a way of thinking that has existed since the beginning of time. But still, you recognize that, wow, I feel different on the inside, and it's beginning to express on the outside. And eventually, your friends and families and loved ones will recognize that as well. And, my son said to me one day, my middle son, my most successful son, said to me, "Mom, you've changed." And while you might think that you would try to pacify your child to understand, no, 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 mommy hasn't changed. Mommy is still who mommy has always been. But mommy is going through a transition. But that's not what I said. Because my reality was that you're right. You're exactly right. There's been a change that took place on the inside of me, and it's now manifesting externally, as it should, because I'm on a voyage to Atlantis. I'm on a voyage to discover everything that I could possibly be. And so I'm asking you, have you made that decision to eliminate the limitations and to eliminate the boundaries and to eliminate the restrictions and the roles and rules and titles that have been imputed into you or placed upon you or brainwashed into you, if I may say that, of, being someone that is socially acceptable or acting in a way that's socially acceptable. I'm not saying that the way you are at your core is not socially acceptable, but have you ever considered becoming the truest external manifestation of who you are at your core being? So that's the question that I'll ask you today. And without being too overly formal and spiritual, I will say that because I believe in the power of affirmative prayer, especially when it comes to manifesting that which you require. And I just quickly wrote this affirmation that I will now use for myself because I actually like it. But I also invite you to share in this affirmation. And it just says simply, knowing that I am the perfect expression of that which created me. I am open to the experiences that create the pathways for my expansion and my growth, spiritually, mentally, and physically. And then begin to meditate on those things that you discovered about yourself as you stripped away the roles and the titles, as you eliminated the limitations and the boundaries and the restrictions and the rules and all those socially acceptable phenomena that we're subjected to. And you discover who you really are at your core. And maybe you need to change a couple of things, or, because we only have the power to change ourselves, right? And so rather than trying to change your external environment or change the people around you to make yourself more comfortable, make yourself uncomfortable, go within and discover who you truly are at your core. And then don't feel like you're responsible for making everybody else comfortable with the transition or the evolving that takes place in you. So that has been Real Talk for today. I'll offer another tip of perhaps it once you've written those things down, create a vision board so that you can behold visually those things that you see yourself living at, the things that you desire to do, the way you desire to be, the expression you desire for the world to see, and the requirements that you have on your life. Share those with yourself first, and then please share them with us.